Hello.
Hey,
I just sat on a belt. Very uncomfortable.
you're spanking it.
I was trying to come up with something that was way better than anything I would have come up with. All right. I got nothing.
So I have to go in just a little over an hour. I just set a timer to remind myself, but just giving you a heads up. Um,
All
so,
right.
but I'm excited for like kind of the energy of where we're starting to get to.
You mean the dumb energy?
Yeah.
It's funny how it's like I was just while I was waiting, I was reading Jessica's Facebook post, the one on which you swore. So I'm like, wait, Aaron swore. I guess I should read this one because I don't usually read it just because I'm like, it's not really for me.
Mhm.
But you swore, and I'm like, all right, there must be reasons. So I was through, and I'm realizing like I didn't get all the way through, but I'm like, all right, she's getting like more serious about who she is, and we're
Yeah.
getting more dumb about who we are. So it's like she's getting serious about her business and life and everything. Is like we're just getting dumber and dumber. But sometimes you have to accept who you are, you know? I'm a dumbass. That's okay.
Oh man, there's already there's already a couple of channels and shows called Dumbest Podcast Ever.
I'm not surprised.
Even
So,
more dumber.
you know, instead of like being dumb and dumber, we're just dumber and dumber.
Dumber and even dumberer.
uh, it's uh, speaking of being dumb, I've been so dumb lately. Of like, when was it? Like 3, 4 days ago when we came up with, okay, this is exactly what I need to do to set up and launch my business. And it took me 3 or 4 days to do it because I'm like, I want to do it in a full day so I can say I launched my business in a day. And I waited. And
Mhm.
even when I tried to do it in a day, I couldn't do it. So it's like, why was I in an idiot? Why did I wait? I should have just done it.
Yeah, so okay, so uh, a great question. I feel like there's some stuff
Yeah.
that I need to do.
So is this can be like a 5 minute episode?
No, I'm just so like I told Randy and it would help him like figure out who he's trying to get. Right?
You said Randy, but for some reason I heard Granny. So I thought you said I told Granny. I'm like, okay, it's kind of funny that you call your grandmother Granny, but then you said he's. I'm like, wait, what?
Well, to be fair, that is something my grandma would do. Like the the gender, like he and she, like doesn't translate in Filipino. So like that's something that they get mixed up all the time. It's like, oh, did he do that? And you're talking about a girl, or like, did she, you know, when did she like when it's like that doesn't work.
Hold on. I have a question that might just blow my mind. Do you speak another language than English?
Mhm.
How do I not know this?
Because it's not a very well-known language. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about anything.
Upper Darper Narpi Carpa is upper bar upper Narpi Top.
Okay, no offense if that's a real language, but it sounds like a made up language.
It is a made-up language, but it's a real
Okay, so
language.
it's one of those languages. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Which one is it?
Art.
Never heard of it.
Apparently, my dad and a couple of friends in college made it up, or they learned it from. So I don't know exactly where it came from, but it's like they would talk to each other like that in school, and then they taught their kids, and my dad taught like me and my siblings. So like we have some friends that we can speak this language, and like nobody else knows what we're saying. Well, I mean, people think they don't understand what we're saying. So it's like if it sounds a little bit weird, they just start tuning it out. But I did have a friend that was like, she was really trying to like understand what we were doing, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, I know what you're saying." And she would like repeat it back and be like, "Okay, so it's not that great." It's kind of like Pig Latin. It's just like a garble, like a distortion of a language, rather than actually coming up.
Now I feel kind of better because I'm like, wait, how can we've been friends for like a year and a half and I don't know that you speak another language? But now that I know what language it is, I feel a little better.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everything else about me. It's like the stupidest version of I speak another language.
That's almost as dumb as the joke that I keep making. That's probably getting very old. And it's like, I speak English, French, and Google Translate. Although I always use it with different people, so they always find it funny, or they pretend to.
Oh. No, it wouldn't work. I was trying to think if I could do the entire thing as like dumblish, like dumb English, and, but it doesn't work. Like you have to. I think you have to start it with a vowel. Anyway, never mind. More pointless
You know
meeting
what?
this data.
I think we finally managed to start an episode by being actually uninteresting for once. Because usually it's like, it's nothing interesting, but it's actually kind of interesting. But this is just, yeah, it's just plain dumb.
I could just like literally like just like watch the clock tick the seconds by. But uninteresting enough.
I think that was actually more interesting than our conversation.
Oh man. Okay, so what's the right thing to do to like move forward from where we are?
Okay, let me show you.
Yay.
No, but I mean, I was making a joke, but it's literally that. It's like, oh, I need to move forward. Get up and start moving forward. Literally just take action.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess today is going to be get as far as I can on. I need to just finish the transcript. I can probably finish it in a couple hours. So that'll be one task down. And then I think I need to post a couple of like really targeted posts about who wants to have a discussion. Like invite people to something.
So any forward forward movement on the whole ask a question front?
No, I haven't thought about it since yesterday. Yeah, the idea of like what question is the right question to ask to, like where the one question business model is the answer to that question.
By the way, I just want to thank you for yesterday when you asked me like, what is the question your thank you page is answering? I'm like, I didn't even think of that. And I'm realizing like this principle is not just about like thinking like, okay, what's the question that my business answers? It's literally like asking the question.
Yeah.
Which is why like I love what Bobby said of like his way of writing it. I'm just like, I may just copy that word for word because that exactly describes what I wanted, like the message I wanted.
Yeah. Well, and you know what I realized too yesterday? A friend of mine posted, "What's your number one tip for coming up with content ideas?" And Brian, the guy that's that I'm learning a lot of marketing from, he literally validated this idea. I mean, what his answer to this was. Let's see if I can find. It says, "Here's his answer." Brian, where did he put it?
Maybe you should message him to see where it is.
So he says, so the question is, what's your number one tip for coming up with content ideas? And he says, think of a situation that someone is in where they need your offer. And that's my favorite starting point. So he didn't say it in the words that we're using in that particular strategy, but the principle behind the one question where your thing is the answer and what he's saying is literally that. It's like if you want to generate the content that's going to attract buyers, like you're trying to get people who resonate, like they're already asking the question, and so you're attracting people by you're attracting people who are looking for a solution where your thing is that solution. So you're mirroring in their mind what they're asking. And so then the right people who are like, I need something that solves this open loop in my mind. By you asking that exact question, they're like, you're reading my mind, you're resonating with me on the exact level that I need to be. Like, what's the answer to that? And then you're like, well, try this on for size. If you like this solution, let's do it.
I'm realizing that with this whole like question principle, it's like we've been using it as a very big picture of like, what is the one question for my business? But if we zoom in, we can use that same principle for everything within the business itself. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, what's the one question for my business? Cool. What's the one question for my sales page? What's the one question for my thank you page? What's the one question for every email? What's the one question for everything? So even though the main question still remains the same, you have different sub questions for everything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like all those sub questions just kind of like stem from that main question. You need that main question to be able to get to all the other ones. Just like one question that leads to an answer, and then that answer leads to another question and another answer. So it's like if you use the example of a funnel, it's like, do you want to make money online? Yes. All right, sign up to my newsletter. You signed up. Do you want to get started right now? Yes. Okay, click on this button. And it's just like a series of questions and answers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I never realized, but I think that's how good funnels work. Like they don't actually ask the question, but it's that principle of like, hey, do you have like this problem or do you want this thing? Yes. Right. Well, here's the reason why you should buy it. And it's like, hey, do you want this upsell that's going to make what you already purchased even better? Right. Yes or no? It just like goes through that cycle.
Yeah, you just literally exist where they exist and read their mind pretty much. And I mean, I'm looking at this article right now. It's like, try this one question business quiz. And so they start the article with a quiz. They're like, business is fill in the blank. Here's your options: people, products, profits, production, all of the above, or none of the above. And that, like, the article is like, okay, we're trying to describe what is business. And their answer is like people. If there's no people, there is no products. If there's no people, there's no profit. If there's no people, there's no production. If there's no people, there is no business. So people make the strategy, they make the culture, they make the products, they build the products, they buy the products, they provide the capital, they produce the profit. So for them, business is people. And then they say you feel like I'm oversimplifying, probably. It's like they make a statement, and then, the part of you that's like, well, but let me see if that's really true. Let me go and check, it's like all of the other things could be true from like a certain perspective, like, and so they're just addressing that open loop that has started by the statement that they made, which is like, wait a second, is that an oversimplification? Or is that just like your take on business? And so like they're just saying, okay, you have this question, that's a valid question. But then, he goes on to say, well, but this is why I have this perspective. So it's like they acknowledge your thing and allow you to be right, but then they move on to their take. So it's like, if you can kind of be one step ahead of where they're at and just address the things that naturally come up in their minds, like eventually it's just kind of like there's no resistance. Like you're with me every step of the way. You know exactly what I'm thinking, and then you have a solid or a reasonable answer for it. Like if that's what the experience is going to be like, then sure, like let's try your thing. Let's use your solution.
I think that is the power of this principle of like, okay, most businesses don't have questions or don't even use the power of questions. So they have to go through the process of super long sales pages to try to convince you, hey, I have this thing and you want it. You don't know yet, but let me convince you of why you want it. Let me throw all these valuable bonuses so you get to the point where it's like, I didn't really think I needed this, but it seems so valuable, I might as well get it. Right. Whereas if you ask the right question, all you need is a simple answer. And anything else is just a distraction. So it's like, hey, do you want to make money online? Yeah, okay, sign up to my newsletter. It's like, if I go through the process of, these are all the reasons why you need to, it's like, I'm just kind of like undoing all the work that I did, because it's like, they already said yes, they're already interested. Why am I trying to sell them? I think that's why this principle can work, because you legit like ask a question. It's like at this very top of the page, like, do you want to make money? If the answer is no, then they're not the right person for you. You don't have to try to convince them. If they answer yes, in their head, of course, not out loud, but if they answer yes, you just have to explain like, all right, this is the solution I'm providing. Are you interested? And it's just like anything beyond that is just a distraction.
Yeah.
Whereas like normal sales funnel, it's like, ooh, grab the attention and then like try to keep them engaged and present value after value after value until they get to the point where it's like, all right, well, I got to get this. There's just so much value. I can't pass this up.
Yeah.
And I feel like once we start playing around with this and we start structuring it in such a way, it's going to be like, we're going to become really good at creating funnels.
Yeah.
It's like right now we have like one question, one answer, or in my case, like 2 questions, I guess. It's like, want to make money online? Yes. All right. Sign up to my newsletter. Do you want to get started right now? Here's the first offer. And then it's like, once they're past that, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, you're on my newsletter and every email is a question. And then the product is the answer and you get to decide if it's right for you or not.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't have any like series of upsells like Russell Brunson as an example. It's like, I went through one of his funnels recently and I think there was 6 different offers from start to end. And usually it's like one offer and 1 or 2 upsells. He had at least 4 or 5 upsells on the back end. And it's like, I'm also like an affiliate for them through my business that I set up. And you can see like some of the offers, like it's broken down. So it's like, all right, the free book, like you make $1, and then the first upsell you make like 15, and then the other one you make like 50, and then 100 or whatever. It's like some offers you can make up to like $300-400 with all the different upsells. As an affiliate making 40%. It's like if you're the one creating all the upsells for your business and you structure it using that question and answer. So it's like, all right, basic question, basic offer. And then, hey, do you want to upgrade and make this even more valuable, even better?
Mhm.
And then you keep like stacking it. So it's like if you use that principle of question, answer, I think we're going to get to a point where we're just going to like do that instinctively, and we're just going to be able to create like super effective funnels very quickly.
Mm.
And it's like I feel like once we have that system in place of like, all right, this is how to structure an effective funnel, we can just go in and plug in the questions and plug in the answers. And I feel like it's going to be very easy to narrow down and like perfect things, because once we have that system in place, we can just swap the questions and the answers and the product and the offers and create new pages. And it's like once we have that basic structure, we can just create like a dozen different variations of just like different styles for the page, split test everything, figure out which one's best, keep that funnel running, and just like copy with a new offer, a new product, or even a new. Damn it. I think I'm getting to the point where I'm convincing myself that I actually enjoy funnels. I've always like, it's kind of like running. It's like, I hate running, but when I do it, I kind of enjoy it and I'm kind of good at it. It's like, I hate building funnels, but it's like, yeah, I did that all day yesterday and it was kind of fun. Like, it's not really fun. There's a lot of like messing around and reworking, but you get to the end, you're like, wow, I'm really proud of this.
Mhm.
And I feel like this is a good learning process, but I feel like I'm overthinking it. I could have done this entire process in like 2 hours. Took me like 9. No, okay,
I
maybe
feel
not.
like, but is that really true? It's like I think the version of you that has done it can now do it in 2 hours. But the you that's like has never done it, it's like whatever the real requirements were of going through the process, like you kind of had to know that to be able to sort of anticipate and plan and like do the right things in the right order, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, for the like process of figuring out the wording,
Mm-hmm.
that like I couldn't necessarily have done quicker, but like the actual layout of the page, like I spent so much time just like adjusting the font size and like the spacing and like just like tiny stuff that doesn't really matter. It's like I get to the end, I'm like, all right, it's perfect. It's exactly how I want it. But I spent 3 hours working on it when it doesn't really make a difference. The person looking at it wouldn't notice the difference. But I feel like now that I have that basic working one, that I can just go and like take a like 4 or 5 different other templates and just kind of like plug in the words, modify the things a bit, and it's done. Surprisingly, the PDF was the longest thing to make. Took me so long.
Yeah.
It's like it's 5 pages long, including the cover. It's like, all right, page 1 is beginner offer, page 2 is intermediate offer, page 3 is advanced offer, page 4 is a list of resources. And it's like, okay, the thing is like I had to go out and figure out like, all right, what are the offers I'm going to pick? And then for the resources, it's like, all right, well, what resources do I want to offer? So I went with like a bunch of different stuff. So like, ClickFunnels, the monthly version and the annual version, like the 3 different like Russell Brunson books and like a few books on copywriting and like web like Namecheap, where you can buy your domains and host your websites and stuff like that, and like a few other things that it's just like going through the process of getting all the affiliate links for that and then setting up the tracking for everything and then like doing the layouts. It looks nice, and it's just like I wasted so much time on that. It's like it's literally 4 pages long, and like not full pages, just like very basic simple pages, and it took me like at least 4 hours to do it. And it probably looks like crap. Anyway, not important. I did it, and that's all that matters.
There's a gigantic TV in this room that's like it's like a 90-inch TV. And it's like one of those touch screens. I've been trying to think of something to use it for, but I'm like, it's probably wasting my time. I gotta figure out something I can do really cool and then film a, I don't know, like a training session or something. But all right.
That would actually be pretty cool, doing like a presentation, and instead of having a whiteboard, you have like a touchscreen TV.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, okay, the best, I think the best implementation of it would be, what can you do on that that you can't do on anything else? So, I mean, how would you design a presentation or an experience in a way that's like, you wouldn't be able to do this with a whiteboard or with like PowerPoint slides? What would be, and I'm not sure what the answer to that would be.
I think like a touchscreen TV is just one of those things that like, oh, I want one of those, but there's actually no use to it whatsoever. Or is there?
Maybe it's not about the technology itself. Just thinking. Maybe it's more about like the added depth that you could create. It's like you like, is there a difference between eating at, you know, eating like French fries and having like oh, what do you call it? Shoot. What is that dish where you like you slice the potato almost all the way down to the bottom and bake it, so it's like this, it's like a baked potato, but it's like sliced and it has butter and seasoning and stuff on it.
Did not know that was a thing, but it sounds amazing.
Yeah, but it's like the same food and it's still a meal. Who cares? But it's like doing it just slightly differently. It doesn't make it not a meal. It doesn't turn it into something brand new. It's just like it's a little bit different flavor of experience. And I'm imagining like, okay, so it's not like, you know, making a picture bigger is really the magic. It's like you interacting with the presentation, being able to touch it. So like if you were going to advance the slides and you like, you know, and you touch the screen, if you had like, if going to the next slide created this sort of like almost like this like ripple effect or something that made the presentation go to the next thing, and it feels like you're interacting with it in a way where it's yeah, it's not about that, it's not about what the technology is, it's about like symbolically representing what the experience allows you to do. It's the storytelling thing of it. It's like there's something, I don't know. This is not super important to.
No. It is because it made me realize something. To come back to the 95-5 principle that I came up with a while back, of like, that's exactly what every successful business does. And what you're describing is kind of the same. It's like, it's still a potato. 95% of it is different. It's just the 5% of preparation that's different that makes it unique. And it's like movies do the exact same thing. Nowadays, every movie is the exact same thing. There's just that 5% that's different. So it's like the 95% feels safe, feels familiar. So people are like, I like this because it's not too different.
Right.
But it's just different enough that I'm like, this is cool and new and original. It's like the best example I can think of is Avatar. It's like there's been a lot of different like comparisons. It's like basically it's Pocahontas, however the hell you pronounce it.
Yeah.
But it's like it made $2.8 billion. So it's like it was 95% of the story that we already knew, just with a 5% twist that made it original. So it's like
everybody really has seen the same thing, but it was made with more nuance and care in the details. I think that's the difference between like a frozen dinner and like a gourmet meal. It's like it's still food, but it's like how well was it prepared? And if you have the right system to do it, it's not even that much work. Like if you have a team that, like if you're at a restaurant where they serve tons and tons of meals, like takes about the same amount. I mean, it takes more time, but they have a machine that allows it to be still as efficient as. So it's like
this is, it's funny because you mentioned food and gourmet and everything. It's like, I mean, okay, I haven't really eaten that much at fancy restaurants, but what I seem to notice is that they keep things very simple. They have like the small portion in the plate with like 2 asparagus and like 1 small tomato and like a sprig of parsley, and just like very, very simple. And they charge a lot for that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
simple and less.
Yeah, exactly. It's the simplification process that is more valuable. And I'm like, that's the principle that I'm going after with my business of like, everyone does newsletters, everyone has offers. I'm simplifying everything for you. I'm condensing it to the absolute core of what's important.
So is there a way I don't know. Yeah, what you're talking about is really
it's really just funny
because
it's like a movie of like, oh, this is so cool and original. It's like, no, it's the exact same story you heard 50 times with a slight twist. And it's like, or it's like gourmet food. It's like, oh, this is so cool. It's like, no, it's the exact same food you ate, just like with 10% of the ingredients, way smaller portions, but you're paying way more.
You know what it is?
How do we set up a business in a way that people are like, that is so cool and so original? It's like, no, I just took the same old crap and removed 90% of the useless stuff.
Yeah, it's the real life an analog to breakthrough. It's like 90% of the time, it's like, I already knew that, but I didn't know it like I know it right now. It's like where the idea makes sense and I feel or I've experienced it in a way that's like those two things smash together at the same exact moment. Then it feels like this, like, whoa, how have I never, like, how's that never clicked for me before? And it's not like you've never heard the information, you just didn't deeply understand it and integrate it in the same way. And so you're taking something that you've experienced before, but you're letting them experience it more deeply. Or you're removing more barriers for them to engage at a more intimate and like a more free level.
I just realized this is kind of like Netflix. Because the basic offer is like, hey, you're gonna get unlimited offers to make money online directly to your inbox, which is basically the Netflix principle. But we both know that 90% of what's on Netflix is crap.
Yeah,
It's like,
and
what are you
we
doing? It's
all
like,
watch the same
yeah.
like, oh, that's a good movie. Like that's a classic. Maybe I've even watched it before, but it's like, oh yeah, like that's been around for a while. Like that's supposed to be really popular. I'll watch that one.
And it's like, I think it's the selling the principle of Netflix of like, you get access to all these things. And then in the actual implementation is like, yes, you get access to all these things, but I've simplified in the most effective way possible and limited it so you don't get overwhelmed. So it's like, you come in thinking like, oh, I'm going to have like one new offer every single day, and I'm going to have all these amazing opportunities. And it's like, yeah, but if I actually delivered that, you would just get overwhelmed and you would end up not doing anything. So I've simplified it. And I'm going to promote the same offer 3 times just to show you like, hey, there's some value in this. If it's not right for you, cool, we'll move on after 3 days. But it's like, it's taking the principle of, you know, streaming or databases or like endless access and simplifying it to its core of like, what do you actually need? You think you want this, but this is what you actually want. This is what you need. And I don't know why this is bringing up something that I saw yesterday. Like, I don't know if you used to play video games or not, but PlayStation has like a subscription called PlayStation Plus where you get access to like free games and you can play online and stuff like that. And yesterday, I think they announced that like almost every single Ubisoft game is going to be available for free on that subscription. And it's like, all right, Ubisoft is one of the biggest like studios out there, and they're choosing to go all in on this like basically free to play subscription model. So I don't really know what this has to do with anything, but it's just, it reminded me of that. And I'm like, all right, if a big like multi-billion-dollar company like Ubisoft is choosing this model, there's definitely something to it. It's like, we've seen it over and over with Netflix and Disney, and it's like, now it's doing the same for video games. So it's like, how do we do the same for business while keeping it still valuable? Because I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of just like offer a crap ton of stuff and there is a perceived value, but the actual real world value is crap.
Okay, something's coming up for me right now, and I'm trying to figure this out. I
It's funny because you're like, something's come up for me and I'm trying to figure it out. And in my head, I was like, should I make a joke of like, hey, is it your penis? And I'm like, it's your, it's like, you're trying to figure out like, what is that?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that because it was no, okay, so what I was realizing is I was asking people in a group for ideas for what I should do for my anniversary. And so people are making suggestions. I'm like, I just ask people for help. They don't care about my thing, really. I mean, but they're offering their ideas, their suggestions, and trying to help me have a good experience. And then somebody said they suggested getting like a photographer to like take some pictures and stuff. And in my head, I thought, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily even have to hire a photographer, but like if there are moments that are like, oh, I should just ask whoever's available, hey, will you take our picture? Like people are super willing to help you if you ask. And I'm like, why can we not use that in business? Why is there a way to leverage the thing that Like people want to help other people. And can you build that desire to participate, or the desire to like, I'm not getting anything out of this except just to be nice.
I think
It,
the principle you're touching in on is the principle of people like to feel important.
Mhm.
And it's like if they're in a group and they provide something of value and people like look up to them, they're like, oh, wow, that's such a good idea. People feel good. So I
Mhm.
think that is something that for your business model would be really good if you manage to figure out like how to deconstruct that and how to use that. It's like,
Yeah,
what are the
I mean,
questions
that's
you can ask
absolutely.
to
Go
get
ahead.
people to interact and feel valuable and important within the community? Because that reminds me, I forget what the stats are, but I think like it's really high, like maybe 50, 70%, maybe even more. I forget, of like people who quit their jobs is because they don't feel valued.
Mm.
Like, how do you get people in a group, like let's say a Facebook group, to feel valued? Because if they feel valued, they're going to participate, they're going to want to be there, they're going to want to bring other people there because they get value from like, hey, I'm an important person in this community. People respect me, they listen to me. Come here and see how awesome I am.
Mhm.
So it's like if you can figure that out, I think that's just gonna like unlock so many things for your business.
I think I think I have an idea. It's a lot of different things kind of all rolled up, and it's like it takes so long to explain. But let me give it a shot. I'll at least talk it out so that it's out, and maybe I can condense it later. But what I'm seeing is like marketing is all about you need my thing. Like, let me tell you why I'm important. And the reality is, like, because of the internet now, are the stats of how much information humanity is generating is doubling every 12 hours. Like,
Really?
human information is doubling every 12 hours. That is a ridiculous amount of information. And so, to me, the fact that we are creating that much data means that everybody's perspective, everybody's information that they can bring to the table is valid. It's important. Like we wouldn't be creating that much if all of it was trash. It's like there's some element of it like we have to sift it and kind of like what are the things that are the same across all of them. But it's like because we're in a like explosion of information, it means that we value that. And so when somebody comes along and is trying to sell you on like, well, here's why my thing is important, you all of a sudden, like the inverse of that is like, if your thing is so important, like, why am I not? Why do I need you? If you could somehow flip it on its head where the marketing is, I need your voice in the conversation. Like this won't work without you. In order to build the thing that we need, in order for the world to change, like you have to step up and share the piece that you have.
Oh,
I don't know exactly how it's gonna work, but like the thing that's been in my head right now is like most marketing is kind of like they want to be the king, they want to be like a lion that's just like at the top of the chain. But like the lion has to get other people to go hunt for them. The lion has to be the one that like fends off the bullies and takes all the hits and the bites when somebody challenges the pack. The lion is like, um, I mean, it's like what seems like a good deal actually asks a lot of you in order to exist and in order to maintain that position. And then you look at something like a bug, like a praying mantis, the devil's mantis, and a lot of bugs use this, spiders use this, a lot of, and even some plants to some extent, but like the devil's mantis looks like a flower. That's how it gets its food. It's like it just stands there. It's like, I look like a flower, and the food just comes to it. It's like, I look like what you want, and the things that it needs just come straight to it. So like, how do we create that feeling of, for people, like, you're important, like everybody's gonna see your value when you engage, when you participate, when you become, when you join this program, when you build your business and be able to share your message. Like, what is that thing that I think people have, like a drive that they'll do stuff for free for strangers when they get nothing out of it, just to get that feeling of, oh, I do make a difference. Like I'm valuable. I'm needed. Like, I matter. If I wasn't here, that wouldn't have happened.
I think there's two parts of this. There's the part that you just described of like feeling like you matter and you have an impact. And then there's the other part of when you're in public situations, you'll behave in a certain way, even if it's not how you would when you're alone, just because you want others to perceive you in a good light. As an example, it's like, all right, most people don't give money to homeless people, but when they're on the date, a lot more guys do it just because they're like, well, I look like an asshole if I don't do it. It's like they're kind of like forced into it by the societal perceptions.
Right.
How do we apply those principles to community? Because like, if you try to be inclusive with the community, it's never going to work, because there's always people who are there who are never going to do anything. So how can you like lift up certain people and get other people to admire those people, so those people feel great and they like interact even more? But how do you do it in such a way that instead of like repelling others, and it's like, oh, well, I can't be like that because they're special or whatever, it's like it just inspires other people to do it?
Yeah. You need to paint a path to, like, if you do this, this, and this, like, you become this. Like, you have to have some sort of model or framework where it makes sense to the person that, oh, like, my being present or available in this way is moving me towards that goal. But you said something a minute ago that kind of like, I'm trying to remember what you said. Oh, people, I think, okay, here's the thing. People do things that they don't identify with all the time. Like, they think of themselves as one way, but what they do is like something opposite of what the identity they want to claim. What you just said about people act a different way in public makes a lot of sense to me, that if your identity is something that you don't do, but if you get in a group where that's the shared value, it's easier to be the person that you think that you are or that you want to be by being in front of other people, being around other people, than it is to do it by yourself. Like,
something is coming up. This conversation
energy or the momentum of the group is something that you can like ride in a way. And like, there's a nuance between like kind of peer pressure or guilting you into that versus you being able to coast on like the shared trajectory of the group.
We're talking, and it's reminding me of a lot of different principles when it comes to business. And it's like, one that seems to work really well combines a lot of different elements, which is the founders, like, package or whatever. So it's like, all right, this is a special deal that's limited time. So there's the fear of missing out.
Mhm.
There's limited time. There's the I'm going to be a founder, so I'm special. I'm better than everyone that comes after me.
Mm.
And there's what was the other one? And there's the fact that, oh, this is a great deal because after like all these spots are filled up, then the price is going to go up and no one else is going to be able. So I'm going to be unique. I'm going to be special. I had a great deal. And it's like, I'm better than everyone who comes after me.
Mhm.
Like that one strategy uses so many different, like, not negotiation, different
Okay,
principles.
you
Anyway,
just said something that okay, I would like to split test this, and maybe I'm going to do this for Randy's thing. I wonder if it isn't more attractive to the right kind of person, the right kind of builder, to say like with the founder launch model. In some way, you're investing, you're sacrificing, you see something that nobody else does, and you want to support it or be the one that enables it by sharing your ideas, by putting in the work or whatever. What if it's like like to be like have the buy-in or the respect as one of the founding members? It's actually a higher cost. It's like you start with the big offer. It's like you think of this as like an investment round, and you being a founding member, it's like you're actually going to pay like a one-time fee that nobody else will. This thing won't exist unless we find the right people who want this to be real enough that they're willing to do more than what everybody else is going to do. Like,
I don't kind of, yeah, I guess it's kind of the principle of like, hey, anyone would jump at the opportunity to be like a co-founder of Apple or Google or Amazon, not just for the money, just for the fact that they can say like, hey, I helped build this thing.
Yeah. And I wonder if, I wonder if there's a way, because then in a sense, it's like instead of offering, because all the discount is it's giving them something in return for participating. If what they're really after is significance and respect, like you can trade that for money and give them credibility and authority and ownership of whatever the thing is.
Ooh, okay. The perfect analogy in this, because it's, you know, about religion in church, and he's looking for 12 people. Randy is Jesus. The 12 founding members are the 12 apostles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's
so
like,
they're going to
hey,
need
we're
to
creating
get
a
the
new
most.
like thing. Do you want to be one of the 12 apostles of this thing?
Yeah, and it's sort of like, are you like 101% all in? Like if you're not that and you just want to wait till it's built, great. Like that's fine. We want the people who like they're gonna die on this hill because this is the thing that you want. Like I want this to exist so much because it doesn't exist anywhere else. I'll build it. I'm gonna give everything I have to do it. That's the feeling, I think, is you need to ask big. And I don't know if the right way is you do like an opening membership where it's like, here's the discount, and then you find the people who are super bought in and say, I pick you to lead this, and this is what it costs. It's going to be a bigger
I
sacrifice.
think you could use the upsell method of this. Like there's the basic offer of like, hey, we're trying to do this. If you're interested, you can join us. And then on the back end, it's like, how interested are you? Because we're looking for 12 people to help us build this thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
they're going to be part of this. They're not just going to be like along for the ride. They're going to be the ones that help steer the ship. Like that seems like a good upsell.
Yeah. So it almost feels like you could do all right, here's the founder's launch model, just to validate the idea. Is there enough people who are willing to pay for this right now? That's like, as soon as this starts, I want to be in on the ground floor. So you get that level of buy-in. And then the people who are the most excited, you say, you know what? Here's the founder levels pricing of people who are excited, and they got a discount. What we need to do to get this off the ground is we need, we need the capital, we need people to build. Are you willing to say, this starts right now, and pay like the full price of what the membership will be? So it's not like a giant ask, it's just like a little bump up from where they're at. And then if they say yes to that, then it's like offering the, and maybe even if they say no to it, the next ask is maybe not more money, but like, what do you want to take ownership of? And just hand them the, okay, you're in charge of that. Go do what you're going to do. Nobody's going to bother you. Nobody's going to like fight with you on how to do it. If that's the thing that you want to see, we're going to support you as a group and make sure we connect you with or get you the people and the things that you need to make that happen. But like, you're asking them like for time, for investment, for, and I think on some level, it's like you have to have those people in order for something to get off the ground. Because if there's not stuff like happening, if they're not doing things and people don't feel the momentum of, oh, we're actually progressing, it's like, this is a great idea, but it's just another idea, and we're all sitting around waiting for it to happen.
Okay, I was thinking of something and then I realized that the real thing was something different. But I was thinking like, what if you had an upsell and a downsell? It's like, the upsell is, do you want to become a founding member? It's more expensive. The downsell is, all right, you don't want to be a founding member. If you want, you can get a discount if you bring someone else with you. And I'm like, what if that was tied into the founders thing? It's like, hey, this is the normal like membership. If you want to pay more, you can become a founder, and for every person you bring into this, you make a commission. So if you bring a certain amount of people, you actually get this for free. And you get lifetime access. You're a founding member. And it's like, you get to help us build this thing for free.
Okay, now you're starting to make sense on like a business thing. Because it's like, you're offering credibility. You're also offering something that appeals to a lot of people, which is like, oh, it doesn't cost me anything, or it doesn't cost me a lot. If I help build, which is like grow the thing. So in some way, it might be like, maybe there's like a referral fee or like a referral commission that only exists for the founding members. Like, if you do X amount as a founding member, you get free membership. Like, you've put enough into this community at the beginning that you're always going to have that rank, which is, I don't pay anything. Okay, that seems to make more sense, because if it's just a discount, I don't think we're filtering for the right kind of person. Like, the buy-in isn't necessarily there. It's like, oh, scarcity. If I get in now, it'll be cheaper, or like, whatever. I mean, there is some level of buy-in, but I think the like, having the motivation, the discount isn't a bad thing. It's like, are we selecting for the right motivation? So that makes a lot of sense.
What is Randy's model for this? Is it like monthly?
Nothing. That's why he hired me.
Like one up front?
He's like, okay, how do we build this, Aaron? And so I didn't realize, I hadn't got on a call with them last night, and like, he has somebody who's like, she's like one of those the bus is like rocketing down the freeway, and like, she's like ready to build the website already. She's like She's like, let's go, let's get this done. Like, she's like, already out the gate. Like, okay, we don't even know what we're doing. Like, we haven't even decided who we're trying to attract. Like, you can't build marketing and a website if you don't know what you're trying to do. But like on some level, we need that kind of enthusiasm and energy to be funneled and channeled into building this, because I'm not going to be able to the one building it. It's like doing stuff is draining for me, but like making sure alignment is there, making sure that people feel heard and cared for, like that's the magic sauce that I can do. And somebody like that, if you can paint the picture where they get it, and they're like, oh, that's what you need me to do, and they're like, did 30 things before you even like asked them to do one. It's like, those are great people to have on the team, but it's like, it just takes a lot of refinement and like a lot of the work of clarity for those kinds of people to feel effective at what they're doing. Because otherwise they're like, I want to be all in, I want to be on board and feel like I'm contributing, but this, like, what are we doing? Like, those people, they're like in fast mode all the time. And so if somebody doesn't know what they're doing, like somebody doesn't have that like authority and safety of, this is the plan, do these things, those people get bored, or they get checked out, or they lose trust in like, oh, like there isn't enough safety here in this process, so like I'm going to go on to the next thing. And those people, like, they jump ship fast if they don't see what they need to see.
Okay, so just so I understand, is Randy trying to build a business around this, or is it like kind of church, but it's paid membership? That's basically
for-profit community that takes kind of what the promise of church is, but it's, the goal is to create like a diverse community that doesn't have any particular creed. Like, the goal is to facilitate people being able to build the communities and have the experience that they have been looking for but haven't been able to find. I think the theme for a lot of the people in Randy's network, and for the, like the people that are starting this, like me and Randy and this girl that's kind of in this early launch phase, is like, we like the idea of church, but we've been burned by the system and by the people who, like, they haven't quite figured out how to live it out in integrity. So they're like, the idea is there, but none of the results. And so, like, we're the people who, like, we've given and given and given and given, and just seen like, oh, like, you're attracting tons and tons of victims. So like, it's people who just need lots of help and support. And so that model isn't really going to create endless transformation. It's like, it's a holding tank until people figure out how to do the work on their own. And that's the frustration, is like, well, can you build some kind of process that gives people what they need to do the work on their own? And that's what I think church sucks at. It's like, it's all redirected externally. It's like, something else will fix your problems. The community will fix your problems. The church, the deity, and on some level, it's like, okay, yes, there's value in having the support, but also nothing happens if you're not going to budge and change. And so, yeah, we're trying to figure out how to say that in a way that's like, who would want to be a part of that, like, and pay to be in that sort of experience. And I think there are people who would, but it's like, the marketing is really going to make this thing work until the model is functional.
This conversation is making me realize that, because I thought, like, I'm going to run a newsletter. All I need is, good funnel, proper advertising, and making more profit than it cost me to get new people. but now I'm realizing like if I'm able to build the audience in such a way that they invite more people, then it's like I don't need to do the work after a while because it's building itself. So is
Mhm.
there a way to use this like community concept and apply it to a newsletter? 'Cause the thing is like the people never interact with each other.
Mhm.
It's just like, hey, I send you offers and that's it. So it's like it seems very limited.
Mhm.
But if there's a way, like, would there be a way to kind of like sell the dream, if you will, of like, hey, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm providing value, and then getting paid, but at the same time, it's like I see a problem in the way that the system works, and you can help me change it, and we can do this together. Like, is there a way
Mhm.
to incorporate that element into it?
Yeah. I think, man, I really think there is. I feel like there's a level of structuring a peer-to-peer support group for a lot of coaching products, a lot of things that where the value is I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm not here to do it for you. I'm not here to support you. Like this is a free space that is going to be what you make of it. And so if you're serious about making money online, I'm sending you offers every single day. Here are all the other people who are interested in doing this too. And if there are some of you who are like, well, you know what, the one that you just sent yesterday, that sounds like the thing. If you're ready to do it with somebody, this is the place to talk about it. Be like, what did you think of that offer? Or like, I like this, but what, like, I have questions. Um, you know, getting that, like setting the tone where this is a place where you can ask questions of the community and support each other. This isn't a place where like, this isn't a help desk where you have access to me. This isn't a coaching program. It's like, it's a place to connect with other people who have the same value as you, which is, I think I'm ready to make money online and I need the fastest, like show me exactly what to do, simple. I don't want to have to think about it kind of thing. And if that's what you're ready to do, it's so much easier to do it with other people. And here are other people who are like you that you can talk to and maybe make friends with and do something together with.
Mhm.
If you set it up to where the onus is on them to get what they need from the group, I think it's possible. That's kind of what my goal is to move all of the communities towards they're expecting my experience is dependent on me. So anything that you as the community owner do on top of that is like really special. It's like extra. And I think for the right people, like there's going to be so many people who love relationship and community that like they're going to do it anyway on top of it. And so their communities will really blossom. But if you set up the expectation that your experience is what you bring to it, and then anything that you as the owner do to facilitate a better experience, like you're over delivering at that point.
I like the idea. I've just never seen this done effectively.
Mhm.
Like whenever there's like, because pretty much every successful online entrepreneur has their own Facebook group where it's like, hey, join this program and you get free access to my group. And it's like there's like thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and it's just like complete
Nobody's
crap.
talking. Yeah, nobody's talking to anybody.
Exactly. It's like the only groups that I've seen that actually have good interaction and value are groups where it's like, this is how we generate traffic for our offer. It's not, this is a group that you get to join after you bought whatever I'm selling.
Right.
So it's like, I don't want to run a Facebook group. I have no interest in that. That's why I'm doing a newsletter. I'm like, that is my group. That is my
Yep.
community. And it's like, it seems like a no-brainer of like, oh, well, if you join, you get access to this group with like all the other people on the list, but it just, I don't think it would be valuable.
Is there, okay, so all you want to do is build the newsletter. Can you vet your offers based on like how like the quality of their program and community? Like when people join the offer, what is happening in terms of like them networking and doing things with other people? Because that's one of my complaints is like being in programs where it's like, yeah, you're giving me information and you're giving me feedback, but I still feel like I'm doing it by myself. And the whole reason I wanted to join a program was to do it with other people, and that's not happening. And it's, you know, that's been one of my biggest beefs with coaching programs, where they promise like a group or a community, but there is no community happening.
Yeah. The solution to that would be like, it would be further down the line once I have a bigger list. And it's like every time I make an offer, I have like a dozen or more people that sign up. Then what I could do is every time someone signs up, I'm like, all right, they sign up for this offer. I'm going to create a Facebook group with those individual people and be like, hey, you're all the people who bought into this offer at the same time. Why don't you support each other and encourage each other?
Mm-hmm.
Like that seems like it would be valuable, but it also seems like it would be something that I would have to set up down the line, because in the beginning there's like, well, one person bought it, yeah, I made money. It's like it wouldn't be profitable for them.
Yeah. Is it, I wonder if that would be something that you could set up in an email. It's like, if they took this offer, that would trigger a, hey, would you like to be in a group with other people who are doing this too? And like I said, like if you're vetting by how good is the community support in the programs, like you only need to do that with offers that's like, hey, I make good money on this. There is no community support, so I might do it for that one. You don't have to build it for every single thing. And then once you've done it one time, you just like copy paste and make the same like systems. Like I would do a follow-up of like, after they've bought in, be like, hooray, I'm excited for you to go on your journey, make money. Do you want to be around other people who are doing the exact same thing you are, so you can learn from them as they're doing it too? If they raise their hand and that's actually a market need, like then you would set something like that up. Or you could even like, I don't know.
Actually, I just realized this isn't something I want to do. I'm just complicating things once again. The only question that I was interested in was, is there a way to build a community in such a way that people, instead of just being on the newsletter, are going to invite other people to be on the newsletter?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like, is it possible to do that? Because nowadays, like, everyone is just so sick and tired of newsletters. It's like already getting people to see the value in being on a newsletter is different.
That's what your first offer should be. Like the redirect should be to your affiliate referral thing. It's like, do you want to get started right now? If you invite, just put the emails of people that you think that would like to make money too. And if they buy anything, you're going to make money on it. So if you have a way where you can set up an affiliate referral thing for them,
Ooh, yeah, okay.
or if you figure out like, what is your lead acquisition cost? Like, does it take you, $40 to run a certain amount of traffic to get a paying customer? You just offer like, hey, would you like to get a $20 gift card? Invite, X amount of people, whatever.
Yeah, so I guess what you're saying is the same principle as, the guy who recruited, like, his whole model is like, hey, I built my business, you can copy my business and start generating money. And at the same time, you build your list in your own business. So it's like, he's growing his business by getting other people to grow his business for him. It's like, I feel like that would be a really good principle like down the line, but in the beginning, I think it would be like a lot of work to set up.
Mhm,
And since I don't know anything, I don't have any data, it would be very hard for me to know how to set it up.
mhm.
But it's like further down the line, like let's say in a year, if I have a big enough list and I can set up a system where it's like, that's the first offer. It's like, hey, sign up for my free like newsletter. I'm never going to charge you anything or try to sell you
Mhm.
anything. On the back end, it's like, hey, by the way, do you want to start making money right now? Just get other people to sign up to this list and you can start making money. That feels like it would be a really good way to get the list to keep building itself.
Mhm.
I think that could be like the only offer I ever make of like, it would just be like any other offer that I'm making. It's like, hey, this is a way to make money online.
Okay, instead of thinking about the tactics, what is the question that you would need to ask where the answer to what you're asking is, oh, I should invite more people to this list? I mean, making it valuable for them is one way to make. I mean, is there another compelling? Is like, can we generate 5 or 6 of these things and then mash them all together so it's like really really compelling for them to?
Actually, I'm just realizing there might be a downside to this because my whole point is I want a quality
Yeah.
list. And if people are like, well, this is an easy way to get paid, so I'm just gonna like convince everyone to sign up because it's free and they have nothing to lose and I'm making money. So let's just pump as many people into this list as possible.
Mhm.
Then I feel like maybe the quality would go down. But if the quality goes down, but I'm getting like 10 times more people, is it really a bad thing?
Hmm. Okay, so what if you had, I'm thinking, so what if you had a way for people to invite people to the list, and you have 2 buckets. One is leads you generate that are highly qualified. The other is leads that your group is generating that who knows how good they are. And then one of the offers is, would you like to buy my email list? Like,
What?
could you essentially, like, for people who have, like, if you have a list that's growing itself and you have no idea how good the list is, could you sell that list to people who want to have an online business?
It's definitely possible. I feel like it's tricky because a lot of other autoresponders don't allow you to have purchase lists. In fact, like one of the guy's offer was like, hey, it's important to build your list. I'm going to start you off by giving you 500 free subscribers. I'm like,
Mm.
oh, I'm trying to build my list. Cool. So I'll just sign up for that. It was like 77 bucks or something. So I'm like, I'll just add them to my list. And then I go through, it's like, oh no, you need to use this specific autoresponder because the autoresponder that I recommend in the other program doesn't allow you to use like purchase lists.
Oh.
It seemed very like iffy.
Oh. I wonder if that's what he's doing. Is like, you're creating an offer, like you're building a filter where other people do the work of sifting your junk data, or so to speak, or like your easily collected leads, and they're figuring out for you and they're paying you to figure it out for them.
I don't know. The thing is, like, it seems more difficult than I realized to get quality leads.
Mhm.
Because in the beginning, it's like he has a bunch of like solo swaps that he does, or not swaps, but like solo ads that he does. So like he just promotes his products on other people's lists. And he's like, hey, if you want, you can buy in, and I'm just gonna like put your link in with ours, and you're gonna get like however much traffic you pay for.
Mhm.
And that's what I did, and it cost me like 700 and I think it was 730 US. So like
Mhm.
almost 1,000 Canadian. And I got like 360 people, I think, on the list, and like a bunch of them unsubscribed in the beginning. But it's like, I sent an email 2 days ago, and out of the 318 people that are still on the list, 2 people opened it. No one clicked. So I'm just like, this is like super crappy trash leads that were really freaking expensive. So I'm like, how much is it going to cost me for quality leads? Or is it just
Mhm.
like I need to find a way to generate leads that people don't normally do, so there's a higher quality there that's not
Mhm.
saturated? I'm like, I can't, like, with that kind of thing, it's like I can just throw money at it and grow like a 10,000 person list, but it's like, if less than 1% open, what's the point? I wasted so
Yeah.
much money.
Yeah.
Because like I'm thinking
Mm.
back to the days of like when I had my newsletter for my books. It's like people would actually opt in and everything. It's like, all right, the open rates would be like 20, 30%.
Mhm.
It's like that's kind of like the newsletter level that I'm open and that I'm used to. And this is like 0.5%. I'm like, no, this is crap.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like, I want to use the business model of I'm selling you the
Mhm.
email list. That's what you're signing up for.
Mhm.
I don't want to use the model of like, hey, you get this free thing or you sign up for this product and I get like you get added to the
Right.
list.
They're fully buying into exactly what the offer is, which is like
Yeah.
new stuff every day. Hmm.
So I'm just wondering, like, maybe it's just a question of like, hey, I created an opt-in page where it's like, what I'm selling you is the list. If you sign up, then you're probably going to be a better quality subscriber than it would have from like other means. So maybe that's just the strategy. Maybe just that is enough, but maybe it's not. Maybe with that strategy, less people are going to sign up. So it's going to cost me like $10 per lead. If it costs me $10 per lead and I make on average $1 per lead per month, it's going to take me 10 months to recoup my expenses. Like that seems expensive. I don't know. It's like, I guess there's no point in thinking about this until I launch it and try. It's like in the beginning, I'm going to do solo ads, but then I think I'm going to do like a bunch of different, like less known strategies. Because solo ads, I feel like those lists are kind of like burnt out a lot because they get a lot of these types of offers. So it's like, it's a good way to start. But
Mhm.
after, I think the better strategies would be like, all right, how do I find influencers whose business model is making money online and then reach out to them? It's like, hey, I have this offer. I think it would be a good fit for your audience. How much to promote it to your audience? I feel like that would be way more valuable. Or it's like going and finding people who have lists, but don't like usually sell like their list. They don't usually get paid to promote stuff to their list.
Yeah.
It's like, that would be better quality. It's like I might try Facebook and YouTube ads, but I feel like that would be pretty expensive. So it's more like, all right, how can I use networking to build it, even if I have to pay?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just thinking.
Ooh, I think a good strategy to begin with would be finding people who have products about how to make money online, reaching out to them and being like, hey, I'm building a list and, explain what I'm doing. And at the same time, instead of just being like, hey, can I pay you to promote it to your list? It's like, can I pay you to promote it to your list? And at the same time, can I become an affiliate for you so that I can promote your thing? So it's like, you're getting paid to promote my thing to your list. And at the same time, you're getting paid when I promote your thing to my list. And it's like later down the line, once I have a bigger list, then it can be like, hey, can you just promote my list to your list? And at the same time, I'm like, in exchange, I'm going to promote your product or your course to my list. I'm just trying to come up with like strategies that most people don't use, because most people, it's like, I'm going to build a list. It's like, all right, solo ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Instagram ads. That's pretty much it. I don't know, or I haven't heard of anyone who's built a list by going to influencers and getting the influencer to promote their list to their audience. Like, I've never seen that. Anyway, that's all brainstorming strategy. It's nothing interesting. Oh, perfect.
I feel like there's some stuff I need to go back and watch of what we talked about, because I think there's something here, or maybe I don't even need to go back and watch it. I just need to set the intention that what needs to bubble up is gonna turn into action. But I think there's something about appealing to the kind of person that people want to be, and then like leveraging the fact that you're a lot more likely to do that in front of other people. And if that's, I wonder if it's stronger to do a pitch to a group, like a live with a bunch of people present, than like making offers to an individual in an email or like on a sales page. Like, does the gravity of like the group make it more likely that you're gonna buy?
It depends how you do it. Because I feel like a lot of time, like, the principle can work well when you're doing, let's say, an online challenge or a live webinar, where it's like, hey, there's this big group of people. There's this like limited offer of like, hey, the first 10 people to sign up get this like amazing bonus. And then people are like, well, there's a lot of people here, so I need to do it now, otherwise I'm losing my chance. So it's like FOMO on steroids. So I think there is an advantage to that, but at the same time, could be a disadvantage because you're just like broadcasting the question to a mass audience rather than asking the question to a specific person. So I just think it's like, it's a different strategy.
All right. Well, I need to go get some lunch because I pack a lunch. But, yeah, this has been good. This has been a weird thing where I feel like we did flow chat a bunch of stuff, but I'm like, it wasn't quite like the conscious breakthrough part wasn't like there for me. I know we talked about some stuff that's like, it's there somewhere, but it like hasn't all like focused and all.
Yeah, I
I
see
don't
what you
think we talked about butts enough.
mean. But I think you're right. Like, it's the same for me. It's like I got some clarity. Like, I never really thought about the whole like, hey, reach out to influencer things. It's like, okay, that came up while we were talking, but it wasn't like, oh my God, that is genius. It was like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, I should do that.
yeah. What is the one question that this session was
Why?
about?
Why are we doing this? I don't know.
That that
I
is a
really,
good question. Like, I mean, I think right now it's like we need to make money. So anything else that we're doing,
I meant more like, why are we doing this show? Like, why are we wasting our time with this? But I like where your mind went better.
what's the one question that the answer to that question is like the breakthrough that brings it all together?
What if? I think it's possible to build a list in a way that no one has ever built a list. Just like I'm copying what people do with lists like 95%, and there's that 5% that's like different of like, hey, this like, I don't know, just the way like I've structured it's different because I've never seen that before. It's like, what is that 5% of growing the list that I can do that's going to be original, that's going to generate like the 95% of results? Because like I'm still going to do the 95% of what other people do because they do it and it works to some degree. But it's like, how can I do it differently or uniquely, like in such a way, like, and how can I keep trying different weird new things until one of them like works and I get like 5,000 people on my list in like 2 days?
Uh-huh.
No, I think that's more a question that I need to like let simmer in the back burner for a while. Because in the past, I was always like, okay, the strategy would have been like, let's build a list. Cool, let's set it up. I try a bunch of different things that normal people try. It doesn't work. I give up and move on. But it's like, no, this is going to be my business. So I just need to keep trying until I figure out what
Yeah.
works. So yeah, definitely and come up with some
Okay. I
unique
think
stuff.
I'm starting to have a realization.
Ooh. That
The
realize,
community is the list. I mean, I'm thinking about like for my own thing. The community is the list. And if you're offering the list, if you offer it for free, then like essentially like if you're not competing with anybody else, like if you actually have a thing that is your thing, it doesn't matter where you go. It's like only the people who want you and what you have, because your thing is unique, are going to buy from you. So you're not really competing with other people. So if I make the community a great experience where people want to be there, and then I say, and you can have this list. Like basically I'm allowing you to promote. In fact, I'm going to show you the right way to promote to this group and help you do that. Help you sell your thing to this group. Then it becomes valuable for people to invite. And if you only invite a little bit of people, but you're like, I'm gonna invite the handful of people that are a good fit for my thing, or that are a good fit for, this group. If all you ever do is invite 20, 30 people, it's like, and I'm done. I'm not gonna spend, 5, 10 minutes every day inviting 30 people to this group to grow it. It's like, I already know a few people and I want them to have this experience. Like I can curate a like a mega group, a mega timeline group of like, this is what the community experience should be like in a social selling group. It's not a spam fest. It's why is your thing so amazing and what is it that's unique about you that would make people want to work with you? Like that's the right way to sell stuff because that's the only reason people really buy, unless you get into something where like you're just so blinded by like how good the marketing is that you're just sucked in. But I mean, what I'm thinking is if I can build a platform with my community where if I make it where like the offer for people would be you don't have to build your own group. Just invite the handful of people you already know that you would put in a group, just bring them here. And then everybody else is going to do the same thing. They're going to invite 2 or 3 people of good quality people. Like we don't want just anybody in here. We want the people that you actually are in your own network with, the people who you talk to regularly, the people who you want to be your client eventually, or that you want to be their client when you have money. Like those are the people you want to invite in this group. Not like the bro marketer that's like, hey, you want to see my 7-figure business system that is just constantly in everybody's face? Like, yeah, those people. So like invite the people that you want in that kind of community, in that group. Like that's who to invite. And then, you know, you're letting them filter their own friends list and their own network by the good people so that that's the community that they get to be part of.
So what you're saying is the community is a place for people to come and chill with their friends.
Yeah, it's like build the list that you actually want by just what do you already have that exists of that list like right now, and it's probably only like 3 or 4 people, but if everybody brought their 3 or 4 people, like that would grow so fast. If all you did was like, if your job was bring 4 people to this group and then you're done, if everybody was bringing 4 people to the group, I mean, it would just grow and grow and grow. And there's probably going to be some, you know, maybe only 30 people participate, but if you can get the number just above that threshold where one person brings 3 more people, like that just about gets it to where it kind of can double itself. If one in every 3 is inviting, but they're inviting 3 more people, it should grow. And if you build like, if you gamify the like, this is what gets you the founding members respect. Like, oh, you completed the steps. Good job. Like, like you made this place the place you wanted it to be.
Would there be a way to kind of like, because I know in group there's like special like tags and stuff like that. Like, would it be possible to tag someone? It's like, all right, you invited 3 people, you now have this tag. And it's like people within the community who have that tag kind of like have more privileges, I guess, than the people than like normal people.
Hmm. Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Like, all right, we have like a live webinar every week where we just go on and talk and like share and stuff like that. It's like, but in order to have access to it, you need to invite 3 people.
mhm. Yeah, there should be a way to do that.
It's funny because you're not moving, so you look frozen, but the clock is still swinging in the background.
All right.
I feel like this session was just the brainstorming part of floaching without the breakthrough.
Yeah.
So I guess we finally succeeded in having a nothing interesting episode. You're trying to ruin it by having a breakthrough, aren't you?
Okay. I think I'm done.
All right, well, I guess I'll let you go then.
All righty. See you later.
Normally I'd say like this has been awesome, but yeah, it hasn't.
I think we finally deliver on the promise.
Yes.
We finally failed. Oh, dude. Okay, no. Wait a second. Wait a second. This is something weird. Like, we set the bar to not be interesting. And what happened was that almost inevitably we get distracted and talk about something that's interesting. Or like in some way it like spins into some energy that's like it's creating something. By setting the bar down there, it's like over delivering is virtually guaranteed. And what I just saw just now is like when you actually fail, like just now, like you just delivered what you promised. And then on some level, it's like that's not a fit. So like we're building a system where there's no way to fail. It's like failure is literally meeting the expectation. So how can we build that into what we're doing, where like when people interact with us or they really they interact with our business or our experience that we're providing, how do we set the expectation so that it's like, oh, I want this thing that's like that's what the level of it is. It's so low that you basically can't help but consistently go above it. And then anytime that you like somehow get to a place where it's like, oh, well, I get exactly what you wanted. It's like, great.
So I guess it's the opposite of most businesses, because most businesses, like they sell you like all this value, and 95% of the time, I would say, you end up being disappointed.
Mhm.
And for floaching, it's the opposite. But how do you get people to opt into something that doesn't seem that valuable? It's like it's great once they do opt in, because then they get so much more value than they were expecting.
Mhm.
But how do you get them to opt in when it's like, yeah, I'll offer, all I'm offering is this.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is what people mean when they talk about like under promise and over deliver. But I feel like it's so like we hear that over and over so much that it's like it's meaningless. I'm trying to understand what this is. Because there's something really interesting about this experience where it's like it's consistently like blows your mind. I mean, that's the idea of our floaching things. But like, how could it be that whatever people are coming to you for like they have a certain level of expectation, and what they get is like the experience. The experience is, well, I thought I was getting fast food, and you somehow delivered gourmet every time, and I didn't realize I needed this, but it's I like this is amazing.
Okay, so what if it's not about the value in itself? What you just said, it's about perception. So it's like, it's not about underselling and then over delivering. It's about doing what we normally do and finding the people who are going to find what we normally do as over delivering because of their perspective, because of who they are.
That's a okay. That's a good point.
Because then it's not like fake perceived value like they do in like funnels of like value stacking. And it's like, oh, there's so much
Right.
perceived value. It's like you find so much value in this because of the
Yeah.
person you are. And to you, this is super valuable. To 99% of the rest of the population, it's total crap.
Yeah. Hmm. So who would value what we're doing?
Not us.
I mean, that's the thing is like we're not the right market because we do this automatic. And I'm not sure that I would pay somebody else for like just another perspective. How do you
Or maybe we're overthinking this. Maybe we just have to take the floating approach and like do what we do best. And by taking action, what we do best is going to be displayed for other people. And automatically, whoever it's right for is going to present themselves.
Mhm.
It's like most of the time we in the past we've been stuck of like, okay, we're like super clear on who we are and what we want to do and everything, but we don't take action. So we never get to that point where what we do is exposed to other people and people don't get a chance to be like, hey, I'm interested. It's like that's why we fail and we think like, oh, it wasn't bad, like we weren't doing the right thing because we failed. It's like, no, we are doing the right thing. We just weren't taking action, and that's why we fail. So I think about like as an example, the newsletter. It's like, all right, well, how do I make it valuable and how do I get people? It's like, no, it is what it is, and I'm happy with what it is. So then it just becomes a question of how do I get in front of more people or how do I get in front of the right people? I think like as I don't know, entrepreneurs, creative people, we always kind of like go back to the basics of like, oh, we need to change our business. We need to change the offer. We need to change the sales page. We need to change everything. When it's like, if we focus 95% of our attention on how do we get in front of more people? How do we find more qualified people? And it's like, if we focus on that, the business aspect is going to take care of itself. It's like, we think the business is like 95%, but it's like, yeah, but the 95% is pointless without the like clients. So 95% of our business should be getting clients. 5% of the business should be fulfilling on the promise in
Mhm.
like the actual business itself. And just saying that is making me realize like how much of a shift that is. Because it's like we think, oh, the business, the work, the coaching, the course, whatever like your business is, we think that is the major thing I need to focus on. No, no, no. That's just the back end. Just make sure you deliver on what you promise and you'll be good. Spend 95% of your efforts on getting more people. that is what's going to explode your business. And I think that's why there are a lot of people out there who are very successful, who make millions of dollars and who are kind of crappy at it. But they're really good at getting more people, getting more clients. And I think like it's pointless to create a good business if you don't have clients.
Mhm.
So I think like our main focus really should be to get clients. Like that should be our main focus. Like
Mhm.
get clients, build the audience, whatever that thing is, like getting people within our ecosystem. Wow, that like I think I had a breakthrough, damn it. That just like completely changes my perspectives. It's like, all right, I'm just setting up the system by which I can get paid. But the business itself is getting the clients.
Yeah, it's getting more people into your ecosystem.
I think
Like
that's
that's all it is. That every single business has that one thing in common. It's like, do you have access to more people? Do you have access to more people? It doesn't even have to be your people.
and the funny thing is I'm realizing like I forgot what I realized. Oh yeah, because the type of people we have so much to offer that if we just find people, we'll find something to sell them. That's not the problem. Like we could even start trying to get clients without even having a product, a business, or a system in place. Like we probably would have a ton of money right now if for the last year, instead of focusing on what is the right business to build, how do we build it, if instead we're like, all right, how do we get clients? If that was our only focus for the last year, we'd probably have made a lot of money by now.
Mhm.
I'm just, okay, I'm thinking of potentially a different business model for my newsletter. So instead of like a newsletter, it's like I send you money making like opportunities to your email every day. It's like, yeah, it's still that, but instead of like an ongoing recurring thing, it's like a time deal. So it's like, all right, I'm charging you 97 bucks to get access to this. I'm going to send you an like a money making offer to your inbox every single day for a year. And that cycle just repeats at the end of every year. Because most people won't stay on the list for more than a year anyway. They'll probably at least buy an offer or a couple offers within that time. So it's like, if I set up, so it's like first year, it's like finding the offers and setting up the autoresponder and everything. And once that's done, after year one, all I have to do is just find clients, get more people to sign up. I don't have to do any work on the back end. And it's like, if I want to, every once in a while, I can go in and like find better offers and swap them in. But it's like, that is the offer. It could even be shorter than that. It can be like, hey, you're paying 97 bucks and I'm going to send you one offer every single day for 90 days. So you're getting 90 offer for 97 bucks, like $1 per offer, let's say. And that's the offer. It's like, that's the pitch. It's like, all I need to do is just get more people onto the list. It's like, if I perfect the system so it's automated on the back end, then my only business is get more people into the funnel. And once I figure out how to do that effectively, I can then delegate and automate that process too. Or I'm wondering if I even need to like explain that. I could just do that on the back end and not tell anyone. It's like most people aren't going to stay on the list for a year. And if they do, they're not going to remember the offers from a year ago.
Mhm.
Even if they do, it's like if they've been on the list for a year and haven't taken action yet, they're probably not going to take action anyway. So it doesn't matter if they're like, hey, you're repeating offers.
You're like, you're right.
Like, congratulations. By the way, you suck for not taking any of these offers and actually making money with it. Anyway, this is more like further down the line, but I'm just realizing like this can be way simpler than I made it because I'm trying to make my job simple. So I'm like, all right, one offer every 3 days. So it's 10 offers per month that I have to find, but it's like I still need to find 10 offers per month,
Mhm.
which is like 120 offers per year. If I have to do that for 20 years or for 10 years, that's like 1,200 offers. That's a lot of work. It's like, hey, if I have a huge list, it's like I make 10,000 bucks every time I promote an offer, it's worth it. But it's still a lot of work. And it's like, if I can get to the point where it's like, I find 100 very good, solid offers that convert well, like,
Mhm.
I don't need anything else.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm thinking of a newsletter. It's like, oh, I need to create new content all the time. It's like, I need to create new content to figure out what works and what doesn't, and then use what works and just repeat that.
Yeah. So, okay. That is a good idea. So what I need to do this week is like go back through my stuff. It's like what's working, do it again.
I just realized the newsletter is the way to get paid to do market research. It's like I get paid to figure out what are the good offers that convert well.
Mhm.
Cool. I found a bunch of them that work. Let's just create an automated system,
Yeah.
keep getting paid over and over and over. And it's like, it could even be even way simpler than I'm thinking. It could be like a dozen offers of like, hey, you want to make money online? I've been running this newsletter for 3 years, tried hundreds of different offers. These are the 12 offers that converted the best and that got the best results for the people. You can pay to get access to these 12 different offers,
Mhm.
like 97 bucks for 12 offers. You get one offer every day, or it can be like every 3 days or every week for 12 weeks or whatever. It's like, that is it. After, if you want, you can stay on the list, but it's like, that's
Mhm.
not what I'm selling. The list is the way for me to figure out what are the right things to sell.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way that you could do that already. Like borrow what other people are doing. Like I have a like a whole email account full of email sequence swipes. And I'm wondering like if we sat down and looked at like, all right, who are the people who are consistently sending emails every day? And what are the themes of their letters so like they're already doing the market research. They're already repeating the same leads and marketing language, like they know what works. So if you see the same kind of themes popping up, it's like, oh, just copy that. Like that's what sells. I wonder if we could do that and like just look at that for half an hour and be like, oh, well, that's what you need to put in your first email sequence.
Dude, this is genius. Because like if I find other people who are doing something similar to me, so it's like affiliate marketers who are using newsletters to sell their like offers. And it's like I just subscribe to a bunch and figure out like, all right, these seem to be the best ones. And it's like even if I find two or three, oh, Even if I find two or three, it's like, I can literally just go and like see what offers they promote. Find the offer, like take the offer and like, let's say find it on ClickBank or whatever, like source they took it from, become an affiliate and just promote that offer to my list. So it's like, I don't even need to pick the offers themselves. I could literally subscribe to a successful email marketer, like successful affiliate email marketer, and just literally copy his offers. And I could even copy his emails word for word if I wanted to, and just promote that list. It's like literally copy and paste. It's like, what's the email copy? Okay. Because I'm talking about copying, is it?